Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this video is going to be my top 10 4K once for the Section 2 video nasties. So as before, on my Section 1 video nasties once on 4K, I'll leave a link to that video down below. This is just the ones that I feel that I would like to see the most on it. It's by the top 10. I'm going to go in reverse order. Now, what I've done with these ones, as I did with the other one, it's a case of I'm just thinking anything's fair game. I'll talk about whether or not I think these could achieve 4K status, in a good 4K, or maybe it's just a wishful pipe dream for me. So number 10 is The Witch Who Came from the Sea. When this was out on the video, it was really hard to get. It's one of the hardest ones to get. And when I saw Arrow releasing this, I thought, well, I'm going to have to see this because I hadn't seen this at all. When I put it on, I must admit, to start off with, I was kind of thinking, what is this movie? Where is it going? It was kind of this girl here is going through this bit of a breakdown, and I'm thinking, where was it? Is it any point of this movie? But stick with it. I think it's got a good payoff. This movie just focuses on this girl who has this, like I say, she's got this breakdown, and it goes through that. And it says here, Molly really knows how to cut men down to size. Well, the clue's in the title there to what actually happens in here. Think I spit in your grave. But I think it's not talked about ever when you talk about video nasties. It's the one that gets the least mention. But actually, it's well worth a shot. And obviously, with Arrow releasing it and releasing it in a great version here, it's got a 2K restoration. Now, the quality on here isn't great, and I've heard that this has never looked good in any way, in any form, VHS, DVD. That's if you could get it on those formats. But it's readily available now. Will I think it gets to 4K? I really think it would struggle because it's not a movie that anyone would really take any notice of. But saying that, Vinegar Syndrome, I'm sure this is right up their alley. They like this type of stuff. And I feel that Vinegar Syndrome could do an amazing job in this, providing they can get some new elements, because I think the elements here are all right, but I don't think the 4K capability. Now, getting back to the fact of if something doesn't meet the 4K standards, a bit like Nightmares in a Damaged Brain was brought to life, but it's still got its limitations. This would benefit if it could get loads more extras. There's quite a few extras on here, but if it could get some more stuff on here, maybe some even unused footage, would be brilliant. So number 10 with the bullets, it's a good film that nobody speaks about. That's The Witch Who Came from the Sea. At number 9 is another film that was really hard to get in the video nasty era. It is Delirium. This is a spectacular release from 88. 88 do some amazing releases of these video nasties, and long may it continue. Now, this I know that it looked absolutely atrocious because I've only ever seen the trailer to this, which looked abysmal. And this one looks, I'm going to say, pretty good for what it is, but it still has got really big limitations on its print. It gets a lot of bad press, and people say it's one of the worst films you can ever see in your life. This fella here is absolutely amazing in this movie, but it is trash. But I think it is a really good movie, and I think everybody who's seen this movie, when they watch it, thinking it's going to be awful, and I went in thinking this is going to be hopeless, but let's see if I can have a laugh out of it. I did have a laugh out of it, but also the actual movie itself was really watchable, and it tells a story about this fella who gets this kind of, I think he gets infected with this nerve agents or something happens to him when he's working as a soldier, and he goes like AWOL and he's on the loose, and the people are trying to get him back because he's kind of rogue. But yeah, good little film, good little watch, and that's what it's all about. You want to watch these films and enjoy them. So if I watch, and we're talking about this in the comments on a previous video, if I watch this one and I enjoy it, I've got more chance of watching this than watching the latest blockbuster, because as much as the latest blockbusters is quite watchable and good to watch, you don't feel necessary, personally, to go back to them. But these movies, when I watch them and I get kind of surprised at how good they are, I do feel like I can't wait to watch this one again. And I have watched this one twice, maybe even 3 times. Same with Who Came from the Sea. When I watched it, I didn't think it was going to be any good. I thought it would just be like, I've seen it, I've got it, it's on the list. But it's great to get these movies and be quite surprised at how good they are, or how enjoyable they are. They're not good movies. This one's not a good movie, but it's really enjoyable for what it portrays. And obviously the soundtrack with the Mastermind theme is brilliant. I mean, that's a stroke of genius, even though they didn't know about the whole Mastermind thing, I don't think. So yeah, at number 9, That's Delirium. At number 8 is Man from Deep River. Now, when I first saw this movie, I saw it in a really bad copy. It's got some really bad animal cruelty in here. Now, this version here hasn't got it all in. There's a couple of scenes taken out, but it does leave some other ones in, which I think are quite bad. And I was quite surprised to see them because I thought it would have took all the animal stuff out of it, and I was quite all right with that. I have got the uncut one. Now, it's strange to get it kind of through us, and I thought, oh my God, I've seen a couple of things here which I never thought was going to be in this movie. But anyway, so beware if you do get this one here. You have got, even though it's cut, it has got some really bad animal cruelty in it, about 3 scenes. Now, when I first saw this movie, it wasn't on a great copy, and I thought, it is what it is. It's okay. It is the first ever cannibal movie. It's purported to be. It is by Umberto Lenzi. Now, when I watched it on this one, I was going to say, well, when I got it, I thought, well, I'll watch it, and I'll put it on the shelves, and it'll just be one of those ones that I'll just think I've got it on the list, and I'll sort of watch it every now and again. But I must admit, on the last watch, when I watched it the first time on this version, so it's a nice version as well, and it's shot outside in the jungle. Now, if they can get a 4K of this one, I think it would look sensational because the Blu-ray looks lovely, and the fact that these movies being shot out in the jungle make these like a prime suspect for 4K because I think they would just like really flourish on the 4K format. But when I watched this, like I say, on this version, I thought this is such a good movie. It's like you can just say it's like a love story really about this guy here who gets captured by this tribe, and he sort of falls for one of the girls in there, and it's about them trying to have a relationship. And I tell you what, it's such a good movie. It is quite, it's just like a love story with some savage bits put in it. I thought it was a really good film. It's got a great soundtrack as well. And I think it's funny when you get these ones, I keep talking about it, and you think it is what it is. And you put it on, you go, hey, I had a really good time with that. Much better than I have on the other previous views. And I know that the first time I saw it on it was on a DVD, but it was a really bad DVD from God knows where. It looked horrendous because it didn't show off any of the way that this was shot. It was shot really well. And when you get these movies and they're shot well, and you see them in 4K or in a really good presentation, you think, wow, this is a much better film than I thought. Because I don't know if you're the same, I love the way a film looks. If a film looks good, that's half the battle. Obviously, it's got to be good as well, but it's enjoyable and it looks good. You think, I really enjoyed that. So hence, this is quite high. If I'd thought about this before I'd seen this movie, I wouldn't have had this one anywhere near this list because I would have said I don't enjoy it. But I do enjoy it after watching it in good quality. So number 8, that's The Man from Deep River. At number 7 is Dario Argento's Inferno. Now, it's a great movie. It looks spectacular. Dario Argento knows how to make a good looking movie. And this one is a bit strange. It's more like set pieces and sort of strange like events. It's not very linear. And it is supposed to be the sequel to Suspiria. I think Suspiria makes a lot more sense. This doesn't make as much sense. But if you go in there thinking it's more like a dream state you're watching, you have a better time with it. I remember when I watched this first of all, and I used to watch these Italian movies, like some of the Fulci ones are a bit like dream states. And I used to watch it and go, this makes no sense. It used to put us off the movie because I thought, well, where's the story doing that? That ending doesn't make sense. This bit doesn't make sense going to that bit. And then I learned probably from John Hall telling us to say, look, you just got to just take it the way it is. It's more like an exercise in what you can see as opposed to a linear story. And I thought, hmm. So when I went back to them, I thought, yeah, I can see that, and I can really get a lot out of these movies. Now, I wouldn't say this is my favorite Dario Argento movie, but I do think that looks absolutely sensational on this Blu-ray. Now, the problem about this is I don't know if it's got a 2K restoration. I think this was done before the 2K restorations were even a thing. This looks amazing like on this presentation, but because I think it's in a bit of a rights battle with Disney Plus own Fox and Fox own this, and henceforth, if they don't get anything, they can't get some dialogue arrow from Disney Plus or anything like that. They can't, or the Disney Plus asking too much for it. They can't get their hands on it to do a new remaster of this from original negatives would be sensational. I've got no doubt it'd probably be one of the best looking 4Ks of Dario Argento if they could get it, with the original negatives. There's a bit of a problem about that because I do think they can't get their hands on it, and I don't know when they can or if anybody can. So I think it's kind of tied up. A lot of people are asking for this one because Arrow done more or less all of the other great Dario Argento movies, but probably more to come, hopefully. But this one just seems to be the one that everybody wants, but it just can't seem to cross the finishing line. But it does look good. It's a strange movie. I do enjoy it. It's more of a visual treat than a story treat, if you know what I mean. So number 7, that's Inferno. At number 6 is Night Train Murders. This was the first one on the Italian collection, number 1. And it's brilliant. I had seen this movie before when I watched it. I had watched the Blue Underground Blu-ray, which looks really good. I do think this one looks a bit better than the Blue Underground one. Does it say a 2K restoration? I don't think it does. But this, especially in the nighttime scenes in the train, the lighting in here, it looks absolutely brilliant. It's forget all this. This doesn't happen at all in it. I mean, it's just like Last House on the Left on a train. And the thing I like about this, I'm going to go with this one, is the gang in this are absolutely awful. There's actually a woman involved with it who she's not in the gang, but she gets kind of taken into the gang because she really enjoys what the gang are doing. She's a really despicable person. And I like that, as you know. So but like I say, the picture quality on here is really good. It's 1975. It's one of those ones where it shouldn't look this good. I mean, it is a kind of really bad exploitation throwaway movie in general, but there's more to that. And because it's got this good look to it, even though there's some nasty stuff in here, I do think, actually, I'm talking about this one. I think this should have been a section 1. I don't think there should be a section 2. This one is much more violent than a lot of them on section 1, which you can say that about a lot of these movies could be intertwined. This one, like I say, on this train, it looks absolutely sensational. I think this needs a good remaster. I think a 4K remaster on this one would make this one look absolutely sensational. Like I say, most of these movies, even though this sounds like really like a pipe dream, I do think with the advent of Nightmares and Damaged Brain, for instance, coming out in 4K, that this one could be all these ones could be viable. And this one, especially because it does look that good, I think that with 4K would look really good in it. But some of these haven't got the best of prints, but some of them got amazing prints, like this one. So number 6, that's Night Train Murders. At number 5 is Eaten Alive. Number 5, Eaten Alive. Now, again, this movie, when I put it on, when I watched it the first time around, I watched it in a really bad 6th generation VHS copy. It looked terrible. It sounded terrible. I couldn't see a thing that was going on in it. And I thought this movie was actually one of the worst made movies of all time. And I couldn't stand it. It was called Death Trap at the time. And that's its alternative title. That's the nasty title, Death Trap. And it was weird because I got this one thing now. It's another one where you think I'm gonna get it. It's gonna be one of those ones. It's a video nasty. I've got to own it, but it's not gonna be my favorite one. I'll probably watch it once. I'll probably watch the extras more than I watch the film. It just is what it is. But I put this on and I was astounded by the picture quality. This is a 2K restoration because this film looks amazing. Now, what I found out since then when I watched it, I couldn't believe what I was watching. It's actually filmed mostly on a stage. Now, they've been able to get the lighting is actually, it's nearly like Suspiria lighting, and I'm not even exaggerating on that. It's got this really sort of attention done to this stage where they do film most of the scenes, especially at the hotel where this fella like gets these guests in and feeds them the crocodile. Why not? But this elevated this movie to me. Actually, when I watched it, I wasn't really watching it this time, the first time, because I thought, I can't believe what I'm saying. And I was just drinking in the picture. Then I went back and watched it again. So this movie is really high up my list for rewatchability. That's another one, like Man from Deep River. When I first saw it, I thought it was trash. I thought it was going to look, no matter what they did to it, I thought this would look abysmal. And it would take me out of the film. I wouldn't enjoy it at all. But I've got to say, this is one of the best looking video nasties I've ever seen from the fact it was shot on a stage. Now, it does suffer from the crocodile is a bit laughable at times, which I quite enjoy. There's a lot of this girl has a wig on for most of the time, and it looks like a complete like joke of a wig. But take that. I'm not going to take that away from the film because I do enjoy it. I don't care if people have got daft wigs on. It is what it is, and I enjoy it. But this is such a sensational looking movie, even on a 2K restoration. I think if they got out in a 4K, it's not one of the best known ones. I think it deserves a lot more notoriety. Probably deserves everybody have a look at this. Don't dismiss it because it is a great film. So that's at number 5, that's Eaten Alive. At number 4 is Contamination or Alien Contamination. I'll get that in the light. You can see this eye sort of comes to life. Lovely spot glossing on this slip. It's amazing. So yeah, this is one of the rare video nasties when it came out. In my area anyway, it kind of stayed on the shelves for a lot longer than the other ones. This is quite a tame video nasty. It's to do with the chest busting scenes, which was kind of on the cover, which I don't know if the cover's, it's not the, hasn't got that cover on there. The chest busting scenes is what this movie, what probably got the image, the cover banned for. I think that was down to the fact of people not really looking at it, just saw that picture and thought, right, get that off. I mean, the chest busting's quite good in here. It's really well done. But for me, this movie is kind of like a laugh a minute. Basically, think about it, it's like Alien 2. When Alien finishes, this one takes off, if you want to think of it that way. The actually the eggs come back down to Earth, and it's about them on Earth and how they take over Earth, and they've got this kind of the alien queen. Well, this is kind of the version that they've got. This big sort of egg thing, and it's absolutely atrocious, the special effects, and it's laughable, but it's really enjoyable. I love these. I think it's from 1980. I just love these 80s Italian movies of what they just try to do. They try to do a lot of stuff. They failed miserably in some aspects, but what they did was, if they failed in one aspect of not making the best movie ever, they have made the best sort of joke movie, but it makes it more enjoyable. And you watch these and you kind of laugh at them at first, but then you get invested with them over time and you grow to like love these movies and you can like forgive them all their shortcomings and you can just get so much out of these movies. Like I say, I get more of these type of movies than I do of the main blockbusters. So if ever I had to say, right, you've got to cull your collection. You can only have a certain type of genre. And I've got all the big blockbusters. What would I have? And I'd say I'll keep all these lot because I just love this. I can watch these time and time again. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Contamination, which I consider to be one of the best alien knockoffs you'll ever see. This is a 2K restoration. It looks pretty good. It's not brilliant, but the fact of it's got, if they can sort of tie it in, if anybody could put the Alien thing, which is big at the minute, can they? Because we've got a new film coming out. Obviously, Aliens 4K has come out. They could maybe do the 4K with this and get everybody's like looking at it, even though they might be shocked when they see it if they're going to think they're going to see a new Aliens and they have a look at this because they will like pass out when they say how bad it is. But it's really enjoyable. It's at number 4. It's Contamination. At number 3 is The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. What a title! This is 1974. It is a zombie film and it is a great zombie film. I saw loads of pictures of this in every like horror mag I was looking at or horror book I was looking at. They always had pictures of this and it was never on the TV. Mainly because I think it's a Spanish film, but it's filmed in the UK. It's got a great setting. It's filmed in this sort of like town that looks exactly like the town or the town from American Werewolf in London. It's got that kind of look to it. With it being Blue Underground, there's a good chance, in fact, I can't believe it's not already, unless there's some rights problems, how it's not out in 4K. This is begging for a 4K. I think it would look sensational. Like I say, it's 1974, but it looks incredible. And I get a real blast out of this movie. It's really gory as well. And like I say, I think it's got a bit of nostalgia to me because I've seen this, I saw this in pictures and books for years and years and years before I saw this actually for the first time. And I love the soundtrack though as well. It's actually so like 70s and prog rock and all that. It really suits the movie. It's of its time, and I like it to be like that. Some movies are like when you look at it, a movie from 1974. Sometimes I like the fact you look at it and you think that's 1974 when it's got the scenes at London at the start, where this woman does this strange thing in the middle of the traffic. This I just love to see things and you just say, right, that's what 1974 looked like in London. Just things like that to get a blast out of it. So anyway, highly recommended. If you haven't seen it, do check it out if you love zombie movies, especially sort of Giorgio Romero type of zombie movies, or Lucio Fulci to a certain extent. So number 3, that's The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. So the funny thing about this list is that most of those movies I talked about are quite well known. They really are big movies. And everyone would say, yes, I've heard of that one. I would like to see that in 4K, or the Blu-ray looks spectacular. They would say that. Now, this one here, I've got number two, and it just shows you that it's just my personal list and it's what I get the most out of. And it's another one that I thought I heard really bad things about this. And I got on DVD. I will upgrade it to Blu-ray. So hopefully the Blu-ray is quite expensive. I would love somebody, if I don't know if this would ever get a 4K one, because it's kind of not well known or not well talked about. But you never know these days. There's a lot coming out in 4K that you can't believe. So number two is Don't Look in the Basement. This movie for me is such a good watch. I put it on expecting another one where I thought I'll watch it. I'll think, nah, it's all right. I'll put it on the shelf. I might watch it again, or not even like it. I might say this is the worst film I've ever seen. Because if I saw a bad video nasty, I would say it's awful. I don't like it, but I've got it. It's for the collection. But this one really blew me away. It's got such a good premise about this kind of institution that's run in with. It's got a really strange take on this institution where they say there's these people in there with all these massive psychological problems, and it's like kind of like an asylum, but they've got like loose rules in it where basically they can just do whatever they want, and that's how this fella who owns it has said that's how it goes. Now at the start, and it's not a spoiler, this the fella who actually started it gets killed by one of the inmates, and because he's given these all these people like they can do anything they want to, and of course one of them just wants to kill him, so they do. So that's how it starts off. So that didn't go too well, did it? And then it goes, but there's more to it than that. This movie is quite clever as well. It's got some really good twists about it. One of the funniest things I find about it is that this girl, I don't know if you can see a picture of her, I don't think you can. She gets she gets a job there, and she goes in and she says to the person who's showing around, the head nurse, and she said, where do I sleep? She says, oh, you sleep in that room over there. And she says, well, there's no locks on the doors. She says, oh, there's no locks on any of the doors. That's just the way it is. And then she said, I mean, she's just a young girl. And she says, all right, then. I would have said, no, thanks, I'm off. But, but it's such, I mean, the people have gotten here with the various problems they've got are quite good. I've got to say, I mean, this fella here thinks I think he thinks he's the president, and he talks oh, he's a judge or a lawyer, and he starts arguing the toss about things in court, just randomly saying, in court you should do this. I mean, the picture quality is atrocious, but I'm hoping this is another one where I don't think the elements exist, but I would love to see them find something in the future and have a shot at this one because it's so enjoyable and I'll get such a blast out of it. And that's, like I say, I'm repeating myself, but it's what it's about. It's about enjoying these movies. There's a lot to enjoy about them. So yeah, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. The acting's pretty bad. It's got like that's when they do the audio and they actually must have a microphone in the room and it sounds kind of tinny. It's got like it's not mic'd up, so it sounds really low budget and as if somebody's just made it in a shoestring, which it probably was. But I get a blast out of it. So try but beware. There's a few of these that are cut on there's not much in it, but there's a few things that are cut on various releases. So this is a VCI entertainment one. I had to hunt for that one. I got it for a couple of quid. I just wanted to think, well, I'm not going to pay £30 for the Blu-ray and find out it's rubbish, the movie itself. But I think actually on this one, yeah, I could pay £30 for 4K. And if it ever came out, I doubt it, but I would love it to. So number two, that's Don't Look in the Basement. So number one in my top 10 once for 4K on the Section 2 Video Nasties list, deep breath, is The Beyond. Obviously, talked about this quite a few times. This movie I just can't understand why this is out in 4K. Lucio Fulci's stuff is just begging for 4K. Most of them, actually, even the ones that aren't really talked about, would look good on 4K because he's such a good filmmaker in general. Now, this one is the Grindhouse releasing one. It's great. It's got 3 discs and it's got 2 Blu-rays and a CD soundtrack, so that covers everything. I would like to see, especially Arrow, when we talked about this before in the comments, when they put stuff out, try and get the CD soundtrack on them as well, because it's a really good bonus. And I think that adds to the value of it. If you're going to pay £30 for something, like I paid for this, and you've got a CD soundtrack in it, you think that's a little bit more about the whole package, should I say? But it doesn't seem like Arrow seem to go down that route. This one ranks highly up in it. I think this is just an absolutely brilliant movie. Another one that's like a dreamscape. Don't take it too seriously. Don't think about what the ending means when you see it and think like what I did and thought, well, that makes no sense. Try and see it for what it is. It's more like a trip through a bit of a nightmare dream, if that makes any sense. But it looks great. And this version here looks brilliant. And it used to look atrocious on the VHS that I saw. It was a copy, but it was a bad copy. And it's never looked good until it got really on DVD. That's when it started to shine. And obviously these Blu-rays are good. And I don't know if this is a 2K scan. I don't think it says it is, but I would say that this one, obviously with the other ones being so sought after, this is one of the ones that just hasn't seen the light of day yet. And there must be somebody working on this. I would love to think that Arrow are going to get their hands on it. This looks great, don't get us wrong, but I know how good the 4Ks look with the full C stuff when people have done it, like Go Underground and Arrow. So I know that this one is going to look spectacular like all the other ones. So that's my top 10 for my once in 4K for the Section 2 Video Nasties. I'll be doing a Section 3 one as well. Now, the Section 3 list is quite big, so that'll take a bit of sorting through. And yeah, so thanks for watching. You take care, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.